The school that I am at is a secondary school and it has approximately 700 students from year 8 to year 12. It is a private school, I don't know whether I said that. And we have students from a variety of socio-economic backgrounds. We have students from a variety of, with a variety of learning needs. So for example, in my classes, or in one of my classes, I have a few students with dyslexia, one with ODD, oppositional defiance disorder. I have another one in that same class that has Asperger's, and so anything that you can use with technology that can relate to them in their world, particularly with these students who have these varied learning needs, anything that you can do that can make their learning more meaningful is terrific. Initially I chose Google Sites because a colleague was using Google Sites, and I was actually at a PD, Professional Development Day, and she was one of the presenters and was talking about Google Sites and showed us some examples of what she had done and why it worked. And what was terrific, because I'm not very IT savvy, was that she gave us, Google actually had a list of instructions for how you can set up a Google site. And so she gave that to me and I was able to set it up, start setting it up right then and there, very easy to follow. I used it primarily this year with my Stage 1 Modern History class. We're looking at the American Civil Rights era. I'm quite passionate about history, but also I love American history. And what I did was I set up a website that had links to specific topics that I wanted them to explore. I set up within that website, on one of the pages, I set up a treasure hunt. So they had to find particular pieces of information. I used almost like an online textbook for them, but I was able to control on the net, what they looked at and what they interacted with. So I was able to ensure that they had access to reliable sites, and that also that they were using their, they were using their visual literacy, like their written textual literacy skills, their visual skills, by watching audio. They had audio clips on there, and they're also using their oral literacy skills, so just trying to cater for everybody and make that learning experience meaningful. I was able to have Martin Luther King's famous speech, or a couple of his famous speeches on there. The kids looked at Malcolm X. I wanted them to, they also created their own websites, so using mine as a pro forma, they then created their own web pages with links, etc., then that we were able to assess. So I used my site not only as a direct teaching informational tool on the subject, but also as a pro forma for them to how to put together their own site, what I was expecting from their summative tasks. Obviously I hope that they would respond well to it, that it would engage them, but I was quite happy that they were quite enthusiastic about it, more so than what I thought they were going to be. They, I think, enjoyed not having a formal textbook, but being able to use this instead. It was just something that they're familiar with technology anyway, and so I think it was entering into their world, and they were happy that I had made the effort to put something together myself. Yes, because I'm not that IT, I'm not that terrific, I'm learning all the time, but I think that just because you're not comfortable with the medium doesn't mean that you shouldn't explore it, because if it's going to have a greater impact on your students, then that's what the aim is. So I was just making general mistakes as I went along, and I would have to go back and figure out why something wasn't working and address that. Also, our school, all schools will block sites, and there were some words that I had keyed in that the students weren't able to access. So whilst I was able to access it because I had my teacher password, I had to go and speak to the IT people and make sure that these sites would be unblocked during certain lessons so the students could access them, and just little things like that. As a teacher, you're providing an environment that relates to what they're interacting with every single day. The students are incredibly tech savvy. Technology is changing all the time, and they seem to be, to me, keeping abreast with it. A number of the students that I taught in Stage 1, Year 11 Modern History are actually doing Year 12 IT. So they're their skills are so much more advanced than mine. So some of the benefits was that they were able to engage quite successfully with this particular type of assessment and learning tool. Other benefits were that I could talk to them about why, well, we could have a discussion about why there were certain sites, URLs on the website that I'd created, so we could talk about what made a reliable site, what didn't, who authors were, the context that a site was created. We spoke about why I created the site, what information was on there and why might I have, just so that when they were doing their own research, that they could take those questions away and all that learning away with them to think a little more critically about what they were choosing. If they can see the meaning and the reason why they're doing something, they're more likely to take it on board, to participate there and hopefully retain these reasons, retain these skills or whatever, because they have more value. Yes, it was valuable. I think I've probably answered that question. Would I use it again? Most definitely. I'm going to use it again next year. Next year I want to take what I've learned this year with it and then try and ensure that the students are able to add their sites onto my site and that they can do more of an active discussion thing. Because we had some issues with getting on to the site, it just slowed the process down. We teach a topic at our school called song lyrics, and we look at a variety of things, one of which obviously being the message behind a song. We look at metaphor, lyrics, rhyme, basically approach songs from not only a poetic construction but also what is being said, who is being said, why, and the context. What I want to do next year to start the topic off with them is provide just a single web page with a variety of links that they can go straight to, and we can look at those questions and then they can apply that to their own learning and their own presentation. I know it's stressed to people when they're at uni, and it's stressed on PD days how important it is to interact with students, recognising their own world and what they bring to the classroom. And I've found using Google Sites or using technology that is absolutely the case. And you don't have to be good at it. You just have to be able to follow instructions.
Yeah.
Yeah.